Forward to the Sky is a sweet little action-adventure puzzle game. It's out on the Nintendo Switch on the 25th of February. It's Jordan here, and I'm going to check it out. The story presented here is a pretty simple one. There's a tower in the sky where an evil witch once cast away its inhabitants. In comes a sword-wielding princess to expel the witch and save the day. There's not really a whole lot to talk about here due to its simplicity, but I will say that throughout the game, there is a lot of dialogue going on during gameplay to advance the narrative, which is fairly nice, much better than if they kept it to the cutscenes. The gameplay, just like everything else Forward to the Sky has to offer, is quite basic. I'd personally consider this game to be like a Zelda dungeon, like one dungeon, and I'll get to why in just a few minutes, but yeah, here there's a lot of environmental puzzles, a smidge of combat, and some platforming. The 7 levels that you face are all in the Sky Tower, with rudimentary abilities such as jump, dodge, and attack. I think you'll be fairly charmed in what it has to offer. I think the puzzles are pretty great. They're often quite large in their scope. There's lots of levers to make platforms go up and down, switches to open doors, and laser beams to point at things. Each level tends to introduce something new, and the difficulty increases at a nice pace. I never got stuck at any point, and I kind of always knew what I had to do, but pulling things off can become a little bit of a task. The only instances that I had to sit back, take a view of the landscape, and figure out just how to do something was for the extra crystals that are needed for 100% completion. Perhaps 2 or 3 of these bonus statues caused me some issues, and in fact 2 of which I had to pass up on completely. I didn't get them. So yeah, the puzzles are pretty fun, many of which would not look out of place in a Zelda game, although perhaps they need slightly more polish. The designs of the levels as a whole are pretty good, which leads to some decent platforming sections too. It gives a nice test of your reactions and reflexes. You'll be dodging boulders, lasers, going against strong winds, standard stuff, but admittedly, I quite enjoyed it. And I do want to stress that while I obviously enjoyed these sides of the games, the puzzles and the platforming, it is super basic. You can all see that. You're probably listening to my bastardized accent while watching the footage and thinking that I'm a bit mental. But what can I say? Give me something simple yet well designed and I can dig it. But it is not all great though. The combat is super rough. I mean, Ocarina of Time had better combat than here. You hopelessly hack at feeble enemies with 0 feedback. Are you doing damage? Who knows? The 3 or so boss battles are super weak in terms of design. Only the final one I would consider to have, potential to be something decent. Thankfully, the combat probably only makes up like 20 or 30% of your time here, and is over quickly enough each time to not make it much of an event. I mean, they probably should have just not had combat at all. I think it brings the game down in terms of your perception. It makes the game look and feel worse than it actually is. They should have just played to the puzzles and platforming strengths and completely take the combat out, or just make it better, Another rough point is the length. Now, in a few videos leading up to this review, I mentioned that I'd heard that the game was very brief, and as sure can be, 2 hours, and you'll be seeing the end credits. That is disappointing, because take away the embarrassing combat, and I was well enjoying what the game had to offer in terms of its design. I was enjoying the puzzles and the platforming. To see it end so quickly left me somewhat unsatisfied, and that's why I likened it to just one Zelda dungeon, because that's the length you're getting here. There are extra difficulty options, which I'm not entirely sure, but I think are additions to the Switch version. The normal difficulty adds a timer to the levels, and the hard difficulty cuts that timer in half, which is no mean feat to do, I think. I'm not entirely convinced how much replayability they will have, since I'm not really one for, time trials or speedruns personally. Outside the main story, there are a couple of bonus minigames. One is an auto-runner style game where you move your character left and right, jumping over obstacles and collecting as many crystals as possible. If you like Temple Run, you'll like this, and it's nice that there are 3 difficulty options which do play rather differently. The other one is an enemy wave, surviving the enemies round by round. Considering combat is incredibly bland here, this felt kinda unnecessary, but at least they added it? I don't know. Both of these modes can unlock extra artwork for you to take a look at. Visually, the game is incredibly basic. As I've mentioned in previous videos where this game is featured, it definitely gives like a Dreamcast vibe for what's going on. I mean, what can I say? Is it good? Well, not by today's standard, of course, but maybe that's not what they're going for. I don't know. If you love the Dreamcast and still wish you had one plugged in, then I'm sure you'll be fine with this and the generous amount of pop-in. I do want to state that all of the cutscene artwork has been redone for this release, and it does look quite a lot better, and you can even see the old ones to compare them. Performance is kind of all over the place. It's 60 frames per second in some places, but mostly not. Just jumps around rather disorientatingly. They should have just capped it at 30 and been done with it. The audio is pretty nice. I like the music quite a lot, even though there's not too much of it. The theme that plays in the opening levels is really quite good. It fits the Sky theme very well and made me think of Skies of Arcadia, so they did a great job there. There's also voice acting too, which, believe it or not, is in English, and it's okay. In terms of value, well, just to let you know, one of my methods for reviews is that I tend not to look at the price of a game until after I've played it and I've finished most of my review. You know, going in knowing the price to be either like super cheap or crazily expensive can massively change one's expectations. I just try to enjoy the game for what it is without the price in the back of my mind. Perhaps then I can guess what I would pay for it, and check that with the actual price and, you know, see where we're at. With that in mind, Forward to the Sky is available digitally in the West on the eShop. I pretty much choked on my coffee when I saw the price. In the US, if you want to download this, it is $48.99. Just let that sink in. In the UK, it's £35.99. In euros, it's £39.99. That is quite a high asking price in my opinion. I mean, you usually have to pay over the odds for niche stuff, but as a digital product, that's just too high, guys. In my head, I was thinking like $10 to $15 at a push. Like maximum considering the nicheness. I am not sure where they are going with this one. Like I said, I enjoyed it for what it was, but let's not get crazy here. It is getting a physical version, however, but only in Japan and Asia, so it is an import exclusive. But rather nicely, those two do have English, so if you want to import this physically and have an actual tangible product that looks nice on your shelf, I mean the box art looks pretty nice, and also give you some resale value, then for me the physical version is 100% the way to go, as the price isn't, you know, too much different than the digital one. I still think it's pushing it in terms of value, but you know, as a collector, especially of the weird and wonderful, I mean, I've just kind of got to get it for myself. If I enjoy a game, and I tell you I enjoy a game, I have to put my money where my mouth is. There's a standard version as well as a collector's edition, which includes an acrylic stand, art book, and soundtrack CD, which, you know, includes a theme song, and I'm super tempted by that CD because, like I said, I like some of the music here. If you want to own a physical version of this and you're as crazy or as weird for niche stuff as myself, then down below in the description I have put links as to where you can order this for yourself. Using those links to purchase the game will also massively help out the team at the same time, as we will earn some money from every purchase. So yeah, you guys are amazing in your support and we love you very, very much. And in return, if you use our links, you can get a very nice 5% off any physical item from Play Asia if you use the coupon code SwitchWatchTV while checking out. That's all one word, SwitchWatchTV, while checking out for 5% off any physical item from Play Asia. Overall, look, the price is it's unbelievable. I like this game, but not for that price digitally. If it was much cheaper, I'd give this a recommendation to those who enjoy a good 3D Zelda dungeon. The puzzles are nicely designed, the platforming is fun, both are basic but enjoyable. The combat, well, it should have been much better or not here at all. The short runtime of a couple of hours is also quite the disappointment, and I feel that if this was more polished, had like 4 times the content, and a more reasonable price, this could have been something essential. But sadly, right now, for me, it's a 6 out of 10. Definitely wait for a sale on this one or get a physical version if you want the resale value. Alright guys, thanks to our executive producers Dane Wilkinson, Jonathan Room, Organicus, Brent McLean, Alyssa Santa Tartaruga, J Cross 7776, God of Resin, Boombox, Alolan Jojo, and Alexander Cato. Thank you for your support. Plus you, yes, you watching right now. If you watched all the way here, you're an absolute star. The longer you watch, the more it helps us grow. If you're one of those legends, let me know in the comments. Give me a little star emoji so I know who you are. Check out my weekly physicals video. This game featured last Monday. Check out James's weekly bargains video trying to save you some money. And how about our channel focused on PS5 and Xbox content? We'll see you guys over there. Take care.